Good morning, Sheriff. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you doing?
Absolutely fantastic, and feel blessed that I get to share a conversation with you because my wife and I are so addicted to 60 Days In. So a brand new season for us is every bit the reason to get into a journey that really, it comes with more lessons than it does with challenges because we learn from this.
I've definitely learned from it.
I bet. But you know what's really shocking about this, Sheriff, is the fact that this time around we're going into Utah. Now, being down here in the South, I guess Utah is like the holy grail of places. I would have never thought of the drugs and the gangs and people behind bars up there.
Yeah, we unfortunately, I wish that your thought process was correct, but unfortunately, we have the same problems that other people have. Maybe not to the same level, but it's here. We have the drugs, we have the gangs, we have the problems, we have the crime. I don't think there's really anywhere you can go to escape all of that.
When you use the word escape right away, my wife and I have talked about this many times. When they volunteer to go in there, it's almost like a game, a real game of like an escape room. And because they're going in there as those volunteers, and we don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and that's a little unnerving, right? Especially as a sheriff, allowing them into the facility because you don't know what's going to happen. And we put, measures in place to make sure things are safe, as we would for any inmate. But you just never know, and so there's a lot of anxiety with allowing this type of thing to happen in your facility. But I think the results are worth that. What we got out of the program.
Your background amazes me with you being a part of the SWAT team. That means that you have to be in the presence of right now and be patient with what is taking place right now.
Yeah. I had 18 years on a SWAT team and as a team leader and team commander. And it was one of the favorite parts of my whole career. I loved being on the SWAT team. It taught me a lot.
When you face a flaw that's in the system, do you correct it immediately, or do you have to go through different levels of command in order to change things so that things smooth out a lot better?
Well, that's a great question because I think both of those options are correct. I mean, there's things we want to change right now, but when you go through levels of command, you want to get that buy-in, right, from all of your levels of command to make the change be as successful as possible. And coming in as a new sheriff, that's something I tried to do, and we've made a lot of changes in the jail. We've made a lot of improvements, and after 60 days in, we're making more improvements. So it's a continual thing for us. And yeah, there's some things if it's a safety issue, we say it's changing right now. There's other things if it's a cultural issue, maybe we try to massage in through the chain of command. So just depends on what the issue is we're looking at.
Sheriff, when you have 7 people who volunteer, how do you teach them to become a team on the inside? Because teamwork to me takes months and even years.
Yeah, you're right. But I think, if you watch previous seasons, when they haven't known who each other are, they spend a good amount of their energy trying to figure out, who are the other participants, instead of focusing on what the mission is that you sent them in there to do. And so we made the decision to put them in as a team. We spent an entire day together, me and my undersheriff and my jail commander. We spent the whole day there with them. We did some training with them, as you'll see in the first episode. And so we really tried to bring them together the best we could as a team. It was a day, but at least they weren't spending a lot of energy inside our facility trying to figure out who each other were and then trying to come together as a team. So they had that big head start.
I would love to be a part of that team that selects the people that go behind bars, because I would love to know what the research is that you have to do and the background checks that you've got to go through in order to put the right people in play.
Yeah, I know the production team does a lot of that, and they bring the finalists to us, and we go through videos of the finalists, and as we make those selections, there's a big process involved in who actually goes in and what we're looking for in our facility and who we think can help us achieve that mission goal. And so you're right, yeah, it's a big process.
In your professionalism, do you hope that the volunteers, when they get out after those 60 days, if they make the 60 days, but the thing is that do they become scared straight instructors? In other words, do they go out into the public and teach people, look, I've been there. You don't need to go there.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think the reality at the end of the day is they all have their different reasons for wanting to do this. But I think your statement's fairly correct, because I saw that in a lot of the participants that some of them were already involved in things in their lives that they were trying to make a change for people. And I think this empowers them, that they can say, yes, I've been there, I've done that. It's not fun. It's not worth it. I'll tell you what, scared straight doesn't work on everybody. It works on me. I go down in the jail and I'm like, I don't want to live in here. There's no way I want to live in here. So it absolutely works on me. So I think there's a large portion of our population that scared straight does work for, and it's not a life that you want living in jail. It's not somewhere that you should ever aspire to be. So hopefully they go out and they use what they've learned in 60 days for positive in each of their own communities.
And yet, Sheriff, because I work at a grocery store, I meet all people without judgment. And the thing is, though, is I keep hearing the stories of, well, it wasn't that bad when I was behind bars. It's not as bad as what they say. Does that have to change? Because they almost glorify being in that moment.
I think so. Here's the problem. So, and sometimes through programs, and through society, you get more of a notion that people want jail to be more of just a leisure, a getaway, a country club type setting.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, it's jail, right? And jail, a big part of why you're there is punishment. You've violated the rules, the laws, and so you've been sentenced to jail. So it is punishment. But while you're in there, we want to make sure that you're treated properly. We want to make sure that your human dignity is guarded. And that we have programs and opportunities for people to change. So I think there's something in when people say it wasn't that bad and they don't mind jail. I think there's more going on inside them than just, that jail wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Because I think for most people, it's absolutely as bad as you think it is. It's not somewhere you want to be. So some of those people need, of course, more help.
Well, I can't thank you enough for being a part of 60 Days In, because this is a great binge watch. In modern day terms, you can even go back to the very first season to watch it. Thank you so much for your time today, and please come back to this show anytime.
Absolutely. It's great to meet you.
Well, you be brilliant today.
Yeah, take care.